Do you ever feel like you're not good enough to paint? That you don't know where to start? You're not artistic enough? You compare yourself to others, you think they're better. Maybe I'm going to make mistakes. I just don't have time to paint. Why bother? I know exactly how that feels. I've been there. I'm Lisa from Elman B, and welcome to my channel. When I was studying at art school, I was genuinely told by many tutors that I couldn't draw, I couldn't paint, I didn't have a clear grasp of colours. I mean, to the point that they got me to buy all these crazy art books about colour theory and things. And for years, I just believed that because these figures in authority had told me that I couldn't do it. So clearly I couldn't do it. So I focused on practical creative practice. I designed costumes and I worked in theatres. And then I went on to have my own wedding dress business where I designed vintage wedding dresses because that was safe and I didn't have to be an artist because, you know, being an artist is not a real job, but being a wedding dress designer is. It's just the way my brain was wired after many, many years of being told that I could not do it. Even when I started Elman B and I was making my little upcycled Fells fairies and I was selling them locally, people were buying them, I had them in a gallery and gift shop, there was still this little voice inside saying, "You're not a real artist." Then one day, about 5 years ago, I just decided to start letting some of that go, and I painted a little scene from a local walk, one of my little favourite walks, and I sprinkled on that little bit of magic that you know that I love to paint. And I was so pleased with this little painting that I created 2 more of them. I got them framed, I put them in the shop where I was selling my Fells fairies, and to my surprise, all 3 of them sold to the same customer. She loved them so much that she bought all 3 of them to hang on her wall. And from that day, something began to switch. Maybe I could be a real artist. Since then, I have been learning and developing my acrylic painting skills, but still in the back of my head there was a little voices saying, "You're not a real painter. Being an artist isn't a real job." And maybe you guys are feeling kind of similar, that you're not artistic enough to learn to paint. In February this year, 2025, the universe gave me an almighty push and I had a freak accident and I fell and I broke my dominant wrist in 3 places. And that was quite literally the push that I needed to change everything. And everything did change. All I could do was to very lightly manage some sketching, and even that was difficult, and weirdly, because you use a much lighter touch when you paint, painting was actually easier. But I also taught myself to paint left-handed, and I practiced sketching and drawing with my left hand. And I just wanted to keep going. And I knew that once my wrist started to heal, that painting and drawing was going to be the best kind of art therapy and rehabilitation for my wrist. So the daily art challenge was born. It was something that had been in the back of my head and that I'd actually planned to start at the beginning of 2025. But those little niggly voices were holding me back, and this was my sign to just throw caution to the wind and really commit to painting. That accident forced me to stop listening to the doubt and start creating for the joy of it. And what I discovered was I love it. I love painting so much that I can do it every single day. And more than that, I actually love teaching it. Because it was difficult to get to my in-person workshops, I launched my online membership. I launched my YouTube channel so that I can bring free content to you guys and teach you guys how to paint too. And here's what you all want to know. Anyone can learn to paint. Doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be artistic. It's just about relaxing, healing, letting go, and just creating for the joy of it. And you don't even have to start with painting. Sometimes the smallest creative steps can be the most powerful. So I've put together 10 fun, chilled, relaxing, creative ideas to get you guys started. I am going to list them all down in the description so that you can keep a copy of them, and I would love for you to let me know in the comments if you give any of these a go. I have got my list in front of me here, so I'm just going to go through them and give you a few ideas and tips as we go. So start with the 5-minute drawing exercise. Set a timer for 5 minutes and just doodle or draw anything you like. Doesn't need to be perfect, it's just about creating. Tip number 2, gather some inspiration. You can literally tear things out of magazines and newspapers and stick them all in a little folder, or you can just start a Pinterest board and pin together your favorite painting ideas or just images that inspire you. It doesn't need to be art, it could be anything. Number 3, go out into nature, have a walk and pick up some nature finds. You can keep them, you could press them in a book, you can draw them later, you can draw on top of them. Just the act of going out and looking for them and gathering them is creative in itself. Tip number 4 is do texture rubbings. So take out a piece of chalk or a charcoal or even just a really soft pencil and some paper and go out and put it against a tree and do some bark rubbings or do some leaf rubbings. It doesn't even need to be natural textures. It could be a brick wall, it could be a piece of iron work, the embossing on a post box, anything you like. Rubbings are a great way to start. Number 5, at the end of the day, have yourself a little journal or a diary or a sketchbook. Write down a couple of words about your day, something that happened, how you feel, anything you like. It can be a couple of words or a sentence, and then just add a little drawing. Again, it's not about being perfect, it's just about creating and expressing. So just add a little doodle that expresses how you felt at the end of the day. Number 6, mark making. Go and grab your kids' art supplies or anything you've got lying about the house. Grab a sheet of paper or open a sketchbook and just make marks. Zigzags, dots, cross hatching, you name it, anything goes, and just try and fill an entire page of crazy marks. It's all about expressing yourself. Number 7 is blob creatures. Put down some blobs of paint, draw some random shapes with some markers or some crayons, and then just start adding little eyes and mouths and arms and legs. I love making mushrooms into blob creatures, but any shape will do. Just have fun and use your imagination. Number 8, continuous line drawing. This is where you just grab an object, your mug, a book, anything you've got lying around your house, your vase of flowers, whatever it is, and you put your pen or your pencil onto the page and you try and draw it, but you are not allowed to lift your pen from the page. And if you want to make it even harder, you got to keep your eye contact on the object and not look down at your drawing. Number 9, again, pick an object that is in your house, but this time try and create it in as many different ways as you can. Do a black and white sketch of it, do a coloured sketch of it, try and do a painting of it. If you've got some paints, try and do a realistic sketch of it, try and do an abstract sketch of it. Use the inspiration that you've gathered and find ways to try and draw or paint the same object over and over again, but always putting a little different twist on it. And number 10 is taking all of those ideas so far and putting them together into a creative journal. So treat yourself to a sketchbook. It doesn't need to be big, it doesn't need to be expensive. And if you've been gathering images or leaves from natures or doing rubbings or doing little doodles and sketches, start putting them all into the one book. This is the same place that you could use to write down your words at the end of the day and do a little drawing, but start gathering it all together and you will start to see your progression and you will begin to feel more like an artist, if that's even a thing. But yeah, start bringing all of these ideas together into the one creative journal, and it is really going to help you to grow and to progress and see the magic and the wonder that creating can bring. Please sprinkle that like button with some fairy dust, and remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about creating for yourself. Even 5 minutes a day is going to help you progress, and that's how the joy of painting begins. Start small, enjoy the process, and let your art be a place to relax, heal, and play.